Hey guys, it's Dow. Welcome back to Peanuts and Cracker Jacks. As I'm recording this, we're about 24 hours, or actually a little less, away from first pitch tomorrow up the Dude. Going to start off the 2022 season with Long Beach State coming to town. It's been a beautiful week here in Mississippi until today, and right now it is absolutely pouring rain here in Louisville, Mississippi. We're about 30 minutes south of Starkville. Starkville's getting the same kind of weather right now. It's really dumping up there as well. Supposed to clear out by game time tomorrow, or actually, a lot sooner than that, but temperatures are going to be dropping, so we'll see a cold and a damp ball game tomorrow, or atmosphere at the Dude tomorrow around 2 o'clock when first pitch starts off. But today we're going to talk about the pitching staff at Mississippi State University. We've already hit the infielders and the outfielders, and a couple of hours ago, the starting rotation for this weekend was actually released, so we're going to talk about that a little bit. In fact, let's go ahead and just get that out of the way, and we'll talk about those guys as we make our way through through probably the entire staff, at least as far as dropping names here. But as everybody has known for several months now, Landon Sims is going to be our Friday starter this year. Landon obviously is moving from the bullpen, where last year he turned in one of the greatest seasons as a Mississippi State reliever in history. I don't think that's debatable. He was absolutely fantastic last year from his first outing all the way through the final out of the College World Series. Just an incredible presence on the mound, brought an incredible intensity with him when he came into ball games. A really good fastball sitting in the mid-90s, a nice slider. Supposedly he's worked on changeup in the offseason to add that to his repertoire as a starter. How it goes, we'll see. From people that I've talked to, I think it's about 50-50 as far as the degree of optimism or skepticism as far as how you look at it. I don't think there's any question about Landon's talent. I think I've said that over and over again, but it will be a big adjustment for both Landon and the fans, seeing him come in or not really come in, but start games rather than coming in and close them out. From a fan perspective, we're looking at going from a bona fide sure thing lockdown closer to a guy that has not started a ball game at Mississippi State. Obviously, he didn't pitch a whole lot, probably pitched about 15 innings his freshman year in 2020 due to the shutdown, due to the coronavirus pandemic. And last year was the closer from day one. I've heard the argument from people that, he was a starter in high school. He's always been a starter. 90% of these guys were starters in high school. There's very few of them that these guys at this level that are elite pitchers that all they did in high school was close. Okay, they were all starters, so don't give me that argument. What I've said before, and I'll say it again now, the speed with which Landon works is going to be the big difference for me watching him. I really like the way he's attacked batters in his closer role and as a setup guy in 2020, his true freshman year. I don't think he has as great a slider as everybody else says that he does. It's not bad, but it's just not a wipeout slider to the degree of a Jacob Lindgren or of a 2013 Chad Gerardo, somebody like that. It's not a Chris Stratton slider. It may look absolutely incredible this year, and I hope he proves me wrong as far as that. And again, I don't think it's a talent thing. I hate taking a sure thing away from the back end of ball games and putting it into the rotation. I've just seen too many times in the past where it didn't work out. But I think Landon is a tremendous pitcher, and we're going to see, because he's going to be the Friday guy for the foreseeable future. I don't see anything changing about that. Saturday guy, it's been announced, is going to be KC Hunt. A lot of people, including myself, speculated whether or not KC would take over the closer's role from Landon, or if he would start. From what I've seen in scrimmages, he's been the best pitcher that we've had the past month during these scrimmages. I think he's looked incredible. He's throwing as high as 96, 97, usually sitting around 94. In my opinion, he's got a better slider than Landon does. He's got really electric stuff. And again, he's a guy that can go both ways, or fill out both roles. So he's not going to be the closer. He's going to be the Saturday guy. So we're still looking for a closer. I think could be absolutely electric. He may have the best stuff on the staff. His issue last year was finding the strike zone consistently. He's been doing that in practice. That has not been an issue. So we're hoping that Saturday we see more of what we've been seeing here lately. Sunday guy is going to be Cade Smith. Cade Smith is a sophomore from DeSoto Central, big powerhouse here in North Mississippi. Cade probably pitched around 15 innings last year. Was injured at the beginning of the season. Really didn't see him a whole lot until later in the year, but he looked really good for the most part when he did get to pitch. He's one of those guys that throws, he's probably going to top out about 93, 94, but he throws 4 pitches, good control of all of them, is really a true pitcher. That's how we see him going forward. There's a lot of optimism about Cade Smith. If you follow some of the high school rankings, Rawlings perfect game, he was rated a 10 coming out of high school. Extremely highly regarded pitcher coming out of a big time program here in Mississippi. And I thought, after watching him last weekend, last Friday, actually, I guess, I thought that he would probably be our Sunday starter, and it does look like that's going to be the case there. So I didn't mention it, but all 3 of these guys are right-handers, so we're going with an all-righty rotation. Left-handed pitching is a bit of a weakness for this staff overall. One of the guys that was considered to be a potential starter this year is a transfer named Andrew Walling, who I've mentioned a time or two. Walling started out at Oregon State a couple of years ago, didn't play a whole lot in 2019 or in 2020. He transferred to a junior college in Oklahoma last year. I believe it was Eastern Oklahoma, something or another, Eastern Oklahoma Tech, whatever. Had a really good season there as a starting pitcher. He's a big guy. He's probably, I would say he's 6'4", 210-ish. He is a left-hander. Right now he's throwing 96, 97. They really believe that he could hit triple digits when it gets warmer, and he's really stretching himself out. He's got really good breaking stuff. Like KC Hunt, the issue is going to be whether or not he can throw strikes on a consistent basis. That is something that has been a problem for him in the past, not to a tremendous degree in games, just because other than the stint at Eastern Oklahoma last year, he really hasn't thrown a whole lot. But he is a guy, if you watch him and if you listen to some of the reports that have come out from practice, he can get wild at times, but absolutely electric stuff. Looks like he's going to be coming out of the bullpen at some point this weekend. I think he and Landon Sims on Friday nights could be an absolutely lethal combination, starting off with Landon from the right side, and then bringing in Andrew Walling from the left side. If Landon can get through the rotation 2.5, 3 times, and then bring in a guy from the opposite side, throwing a little bit harder with a little bit more bite on his slider, could make it really, really difficult for teams to hit, especially late in the game. But Andrew's probably our top left-hander out of the pen, if I had to guess, or he may figure into the starting rotation going down the road. I think we'll see what we've seen in the past. We'll see Landon, and we'll see all of our starters this weekend pitch 4 to 5 innings. at max, and then we'll bring in another guy behind them that could either be a starter or a reliever, like Andrew Walling. Parker Stinnett, we've talked about him a couple of times. Parker Stinnett is another guy with phenomenal talent that just has to find the strike zone on a regular basis. I think Parker right now has got to be one of the leading contenders for the closer role, but he's also a guy that's got the potential to go multiple innings, 3, 4, 5 innings if he needs to. That's how they've been working him and how they've been training him in the fall and here in the early months of 2022, heading into the season. Along with Casey Hunt, Andrew Walling, this guy's got major league stuff. I would say those 3 guys have the best stuff on the staff. Again, it sounds like I'm dogging Landon Sims. I'm really not. The one thing that he's got over everybody is the ability to throw strikes. We've never really seen Landon have a problem locating. And one thing that I think that I'm expecting, and this is purely from a fan's perspective, I think we will see a different Landon Sims as a starter. I think we'll see him pitching to contact a lot more than we did in the past. I don't see him coming in and just blowing people away as he did last year out of the bullpen. I think he's still going to get his Ks, but I think we're going to see people putting the ball in play a lot more than we're used to, and that may give us fans reason to be a little concerned on the front end there. We'll just have to see. Some other names that we're going to see this weekend, barring injury, and I have no knowledge of any injuries to any of these guys. First name that I'm thinking of is Jackson Fristoe. Jackson Fristoe played a huge role last year in the starting rotation until the end of the season, when I really believe he just ran out of gas. Coming off the 2020 season as a senior in high school, where he missed pretty much all of his senior season, and then being thrust into an SEC starter role. It's just way more innings than he had ever pitched before, and I really believe way more so than a talent issue. I believe it was just an endurance and a stamina issue, which I expect that to be completely different this year. His numbers last year were not bad by any means. The highlight probably was the day that he helped combine for a no-hitter. Can't remember who it was that we were playing. It was a non-conference game, but his numbers really don't tell the true story about how good a pitcher he is. I think he will be an elite prospect here in a couple of years, a high early round pick in the Major League Baseball draft. He's a guy that right now is probably throwing 96, 97, good slider. He obviously has worked on his conditioning in the off season, and I think we'll see a better pitcher than we did last year and see him throw a lot more innings. He's a guy, I don't know if we'll convert him to a middle relief role or a long relief role, or if he may pitch some in midweek games, because those games are extremely important as well. We've got to have a solid arm there to get us at least 3 or 4 innings in a midweek game. But Jackson Fristoe, if it was me putting together the staff, I would probably bring him in on Sundays after Cade Smith. Have them kind of piggyback that third game each weekend for the first month or so. Preston Johnson, Preston Johnson may be in line to be the closer right now. If I'm looking just at the roster and thinking about consistency and who I trust at the back end of ball games, Preston Johnson's the first name that comes out to me. I know some people have said, well, he needs to be a starter. He needs to be in a long relief. Personally, I prefer him in long relief. I think he's a guy that can easily come in and give you 3 or 4 innings when you need it. But until you figure out what's going to happen in the 8th and 9th, Preston Johnson's a name you've got to consider filling that closer role. Another name that I've heard mentioned as a potential closer, which, I don't think we saw enough of him last year to really say, is Mikey Tepper. Mikey Tepper was a true freshman last year, came from South Carolina. Again, he was rated a 10 by Perfect Game. He's a guy that should be throwing mid-90s this year with good off-speed stuff. Probably pitched around 15 innings last year. I thought we'd see him pitch a lot more than we did last year. We didn't early on, and as you guys know that follow Mississippi State baseball, May and June we pretty much settled into the guys that we were going to go with, and we weren't going to throw anybody else. It worked out pretty good, But I think we'll see a lot more of Mikey Tepper this year, maybe in the closer role, definitely in a relief role. He could pitch some in midweek games too as well. He's got to have innings. We got to get him out on the mound against some live bats so that he can grow as a pitcher. But Mikey Tepper is another right-hander. Just quickly, I mentioned we don't have a whole lot of lefty arms in this rotation or in this staff. Cam Tuller is probably the only returning left-hander that we have. And Cam was pretty much a situational guy last year. Just a matchup guy, couple of batters, maybe an inning and a third, something like that. Like Andrew Walling, though, he's a guy that was a really impressive starter in junior college. I believe Cam started out at Michigan and transferred to Wabash Community College in Illinois, and was fantastic as a starter. Was really, really highly thought of. Coming to state. I know he had a good fall last year, and just, he didn't crack the starting rotation and became that situational guy. I think his role will be expanded this year. It definitely needs to from a matchup perspective, just because other than Andrew Walling, we don't have a whole lot of, high ceiling left-handed pitching out there. One freshman that we've got that's pitched a lot in the fall and here the last couple of weeks is Cole Cheatham. Cole Cheatham's a freshman from Alabama as a left-hander. I expect to see him a lot this year. Cole throws low 90s. One guy that I have not heard a whole lot about and I have not been able to see here in the scrimmages is Pico Cone. As far as ceilings go, of the freshman pitchers or the new pitchers, long-term Pico Cone has probably got the highest ceiling. Go check out his high school numbers when you get a chance. They're absolutely ridiculous. He's a guy that is about 6'5", 210, 215, really projects as somebody that will improve his velocity tremendously over the next couple of years. And coming from the left side, could really turn out to be a dominant SEC pitcher and could be another high draft pick for Mississippi State down the road. While I'm talking about freshmen, obviously Pico Cone, left-hander. We got another guy, true freshman, that's a right-hander that has a lot of potential, named Jack Walker from Lake Charles, Louisiana. Jack Walker was Perfect Games National Pitcher of the Year last year. I believe he went 13-0 with something like a .4 ERA and about a 7-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. Pitched three perfect games last year, I believe. From what I understand, has a really good 4-pitch mix. Doesn't throw overpowering stuff. He's low 90s with his fastball, but has excellent control, really good movement, and really knows how to pitch. Doesn't throw many balls, doesn't give up a whole lot of walks. He's a guy that just comes out there and gets the job done. I'm really interested in seeing him. I think he's a guy that we'll see a lot of in the midweek. At least I really hope so. Really excited about what I've heard about him, and he'll be a big-time arm for us going forward. Even if he's not a real factor in SEC weekends this year, he will be from 2023 on, I believe. Could end up being in the mix this year, but it's just hard to project a true freshman. Jackson Fristoe obviously did it last year, so there's certainly a window for either Pico Cone or Jack Walker to step in there. Cole Cheatham, I think we will see, just because he's a left-hander. He's a guy that'll come in the middle of games. The other two, I believe, are potentially starters down the road. Trying to think of some other guys that I haven't already mentioned. Some holdovers. Obviously, Brandon Smith is about 2 years removed from Tommy John surgery right now. Hopefully we will see him at 100% strength, and he'll be the pitcher that we thought that he could be his true freshman season. Brandon is a guy that has got tremendous movement on his fastball. His videos are still out there on Pitching Ninja. Some of the filth that he's tossed up there. His problem has been when he has to rely on the fastball too much, and everybody knows that it's coming. He's he's given up some hard hits in the past, but again, he is now 2 years off Tommy John surgery. So the last 2 years we certainly haven't seen him at full strength. So hopefully we will see that this year. Stone Simmons is back this year, another right-hander. Stone mainly came out of the bullpen last year after being the Friday and Saturday starter for Furman as a true freshman. Stone was pretty good last year until the postseason, got rocked a couple of times, and unfortunately, that's what I remember the most about him. Had a pretty good fastball against teams that weren't really good fastball hitting teams. I didn't see a whole lot from him other than that. I don't know. Obviously, everybody works hard in the off season to improve their breaking stuff. I'm sure he's no different. And Stone, as much as he pitched last year, I think we should see him a lot again this year in relief. And he's another guy that could pitch several innings in midweek games, Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Let's see. Brooks Auger is a guy that transferred from Hines Community College that I don't really know a lot about. He's from Ruston, Louisiana. I didn't know anything about him until Coach Lemonis mentioned him in an interview a few weeks ago, which anytime a coach mentions a pitcher like that, you think, oh, this guy must be showing him something in practice. I saw Brooks pitch in the first scrimmage that I went to this year, and he was not good at all. Everybody has bad days. They said that Jack Walker had a bad day the next day, and Coach Lemonis said he was pretty much unhittable in the fall. So, Brooks Auger is a guy that if Lemonis is high on him, if Foxhall's high on him, we could see him tomorrow. You just never know. Again, another right-hander. I think I've mentioned all of the left-handers. We've only got about 4 or 5 on the staff as a whole. Taylor Montiel is a true freshman who's a left-hander that I have not heard much about. I would not expect him to pitch this year. Bradley Wilson is another true freshman who I haven't heard a whole lot about. I think he's a bit of a project, but those are guys that down the road we may see them grow into something. Drew Talley was a right-hander that pitched a little bit for us last year. I don't see him figuring in prominently in the weekends, not in close situations anyway, but you just never know what you're going to see from guys. But I should be able to make all 3 games this weekend. Really excited to see the new guys. Just because I've seen Landon Sims pitch several times, albeit in a closer role. I am interested in see Landon pitch tomorrow, but I'm really excited about Casey Hunt. What I saw last year from him, just the potential that there is with KC gets me really excited. And he's really been throwing strikes the last few weeks. So it looks like the control issues that we saw at times last year may be a thing of the past. He's a guy that I know the pros like a lot. He could possibly work himself up into a first or second round pick if he just goes lights out this season. Landon obviously has been projected by most sites as a first round pick this year. He's on the Golden Spikes watch list. I think I may have read somewhere that he was voted as first team All SEC or something preseason as a starting pitcher, and he's never started a game. Some publication anyway. Maybe it wasn't All SEC, but people have got. Well, like I said earlier, I think it's about 50-50. I think a lot of people think, oh, it's a no-brainer that he's a starter, and then the other half are like, why would we take him out of the closer's role? That's the group that I'm currently in. Landon, I love you. I know you're probably watching this right now. You probably watch it 3 or 4 times before your start tomorrow. I'm gonna be in section 109. I'll be as loud as anybody except for that guy that's 2 sections over that's just really annoying. But it should be a fantastic season. I really think this staff is better potentially than last year's staff. And if you look at what we had going into the season last year, we had 3 guys that were projected as first-round draft picks last year in Christian McLeod, Will Bednar, and Eric Sarantola. Obviously, it didn't really work out for McLeod. One weekend he'd be all SEC, and the next he'd be, Mac Jack. Eric Sarantola was, not being ugly, but Eric Sarantola was a bust. He still got drafted, and I hope he does well. I hope he's the next Randy Johnson. Will Bednar of the 3, was the only one that ended up with tremendous success, and he was hurt for the first month of the season. But we had a lot of we were really excited going into last season, and ended up setting the strikeout record. I think we could break that this year. I see a lot of punch outs in the future for this staff. It's really fun to look at 15 or 16 guys and know that all of these arms can come out and go 93 to 96, with guys like Andrew Walling and even Casey Hunt. We're going to see some high 90s. Landon, when he rears back, he can get it up there 96, 97. And then the younger guys again, Cole Cheatham, Pico Cone, Jack Walker. It's going to be exciting to see what they can do. Not just this season, but in the future as well. I'm looking at winning a string of national championships. Last year was just the beginning. I think this is going to be a Chicago Bulls type dynasty. We may take a couple of years off just for other people so that we don't hurt their feelings too bad. But something like a 6-9 run, as far as bringing home the hardware, I think it's definitely doable with the way Chris Lemonis and company are recruiting right now. It's fun to be a Bulldog. Let me say that. But first pitch tomorrow is going to be around 2 p.m., a little early start due to the weather. I hope you guys can make it out there. For those of you who can't, I'll try to tweet as much as possible. It's at Duty Noble on the Twitter. Check it out. Try to get you some good content during the game. Let you know what I see up close and personal from section 109 row J. Until then, go Dogs.